Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval Creed. Today we'll be reviewing the final German battleship, that being H42. I have renamed her Großer Kurfürst and her sister ship Kaiser Friedrich de Wilhelm. Um, it's going to be easiest for me to just call her Kurfürst at this time, so that's probably how I'll call her during the remainder of this video. Alright, so this ship is actually one of my favorite top tier battleships. I've done quite a few games with her, and if you've watched some of my earlier event mission videos, you can see that I used her once or twice in there, especially in the space battle one. That one was really fun. Alright, so let's take a look at what we have. We have 116,000 health points, which, again, to my knowledge, is the most in the game. Feel free to correct me if you're wrong. I know some of my viewers have pointed out things that I've been incorrect about. I always take back feedback, even if it's good or bad. Doesn't matter. Thank you for helping me with those videos, by the way. All right, so going back to this one, 35% torpedo resistance, which is actually pretty decent for a German battleship. Again, it's not as good as Yamato at 50%, but it's still pretty good. Armor, you have up to just under 16 inches of armor. The max is actually 16 and a half, it says, and the belt is 16. You have a lot of broadside armor as well as barbette and turret face armor. It's not impossible to citadel her. I've done it maybe a handful of times. However, you should never ever count on actually citadeling the ship, and most of the time I citadel her from long range going through the deck. So keep that in mind. It's easier to citadel her the farther away she is. But that doesn't mean you will citadel her. You have to keep that in mind. Alright, so guns. You have two options for guns. The base ones are 16.5-inch guns. You can have 4 dual turrets, 2 fore, 2 aft. These have a better rate of fire than the other option, which are 480s, or 19-inch guns. But they don't have as much as a kick as I would prefer. And if I wanted to use 420mm guns, I would just go with Rhineland or H41. Now, I know this is an event ship and you can't actually earn her anymore, but for those of you who do have her, these are the same exact 420mm guns. So I prefer the 480mm guns. There are a bunch of drawbacks. Actually, let's go back to show that. You lose a little bit of your shell velocity. Your fire rate goes down a lot. Your 180-degree turn time goes down a lot, or actually goes up a lot, I should say. But your damages for all your shells, HE and AP, go up pretty substantially, and I prefer these guns over anything. Your main gun range is 24 kilometers exactly, so pretty decent, and your accuracy when worked on is not terrible, and at the ranges you should be firing at, it's actually pretty decent. Your secondaries, however, have a base range of 8 kilometers. Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, I have full secondary build on her, and I can shoot my secondaries out to almost 12 kilometers. And the thing about the secondaries is that you have 3 dual 8-inch guns on each side. You almost have an entire Hipper class on each side of your ship. Add to that, you also have a bunch of these, I'm assuming dual purpose 5-inch or at least 150s. I'm not entirely sure. Again, this is not a real ship. It was a design ship, and I'm assuming that the designs varied wildly, but just keep in mind that there are a lot of good secondaries on this ship, and they go out pretty far, and it's a lot of fun. All right, so next we have AA defense. Your AA is actually pretty trash. It may look good on paper, but I'm pretty sure when I did my number crunching a long time ago, Kurfürst actually has the worst AA rating out of all the top tier battleships currently in the game. One of the new Russian battleships I'm expecting to have worse AA, but we'll see when those hopefully come out soon. I'm running out of battleships before All I have is the British line, and then I'm supposed to be doing the Russian line, but they're not out yet, so we might have to start carriers before we do the Russian line, but we'll see what happens. There's 3 more updates before I have to either do carriers or do Russian battleships. Going back to Kurfürst, A defense is pretty terrible, and you're also the size of an entire Empire State Building. Or feels like it, I feel, half the time. So you turn like a semi, and you soak up damage like a good sponge you are. That being said, it can only go so far, and if you are focused by a carrier, or at least are found alone by a carrier, you will definitely take damage, and if you are against a good carrier player, you will soon be sunk. So always have to have someone near you for AA support. You do have a couple fighters that you can launch. You can launch 2 at a time. You have 6 total, and there's the stats there. Honestly, the catapult fighters in this game are absolutely worthless. The only good thing that they are good for is spotting enemy ships and torpedoes, and even then, it's only as long as they don't get shot down. But we have what we have. Speed, 30.9 knots, which is actually pretty good. That's faster than Super Yamato at 27 knots, and it's faster than Montana at 28 knots? Maybe 27? I don't know. Centurion, or the L3. Let's see here. How fast does she go? 29 knots, so we're faster than that one. I don't think we're going to be faster than K2. Yeah, 32.5, but we're not actually that far behind. And then Svetsky Soyuz goes 28 knots. France probably outruns you. Actually, no, we're 0.9 knots faster than France. So, as big as she is, she's actually pretty fast for this tier as well. So you can get around quickly. You have a lot of smaller caliber secondary guns that shoot out to pretty much mid to long range. And your main guns, though they may be inaccurate, you do have quite a punch when they do hit. You have the second largest guns in the game. The only other ship in the game currently that has 19-inch guns is the Yamato refit, which I've renamed to Kaishi. So, pretty powerful ship here. Her AA is pretty trash, but you can get around that. If you actually do make her full AA, it is quite fun. You will get quite a few planes, but not enough to make a real difference, and honestly, that build does not work for Kurfürst. You also are able to use Hydro again, repair, and heal. Pretty standard. And I have her for secondary, maneuverability, and as much health and survivability I can pour into my AA guns and secondary guns as possible. So with that, let's toss her into the game and see what we can do today. Alright, here ourselves a game. Carrier, 1 battleship only, a bunch of cruisers and a few destroyers. So not a good damage getting game, and honestly I'm just going to rush right in. Usually I like to go off to the side and get the broadsides, but I'm just going to rush right in. I do have health buffs and speed buffs applied at this time, so keep that in mind. This is not the base ship. And let's see what we can do. So I do have hopefully I remember to put the 480s on. Yeah, they look pretty good. Also, I always am amazed at how small this ME-109, which currently looks like it has a skin bug. It's so small compared to everything else on the ship. It actually makes the ship look like a giant city, which it pretty much is, but still. Alright, so we're on our way. Might as well put up our fighters now. So going back to what I was saying earlier, I am hoping that the Russian battleships will be out in time for me to keep them in order. So I did Japanese battleships, American battleships, French, German, then I have to do British battleships, then British battle cruisers, and then I would be at the point to do Russian battleships. Now I do have a few other videos I can do in the meantime, such as the one for Kaliningrad, as well as the 3 event missions that are currently out for the sister ship of Fuso, or the other sister ship of Fuso. And then I will do the British battle cruiser. So tomorrow is Kaliningrad. See what we can do to this. Let's go here. 2 citadels, awesome. And yeah, so we have about 18 days, maybe just under 3 weeks or so, until I would be at the point to do Russian battleships, but we'll see, because if it's anything like the French battleships when they're first coming out, they're going to be for preview only for like 4 weeks, and then we would get them. We'll see. Hopefully we'll get them soon, but I honestly don't know at this point. Alright, so obviously my secondaries have broken, but I'm going to pop my hybrid because there is a destroyer here. Let's work on this Kurfürst a little bit because the secondaries are actually not going to do much to him. You have to use his main guns. Now let me focus on the ship back here. Yeah, that's the last guys in the entire time. Sorry for the noise if that was loud. Alright, so that one's down. We focus on the Worcester. He's down. Let's focus on the Shimakaze. Alright, so Shimakaze is in and out of detection, so let's actually... He's back out now. There goes Shima. Let's focus on Fargo now. You can literally just ignore cruisers and destroyers and just have your secondaries working maybe. And ignore literally everything else. And you can see I haven't even dropped to 100,000 health points yet. There goes another one. I'm continuously being set on fire. Ooh, we're in secondary range of the carrier. Awesome. You can have fun with that. So many fires. We sunk another ship. I don't even know what's going on anymore. Just all the fires. It's just continuously fires I'm being set on. And that's how the ship really is. Now I'm coming under air attack, which... I probably should have waited till after the torpedoes, but it's okay. There we go. Alright, so now we only have a couple destroyers and the carrier left. I know the Akazuki is over here. We have the Grozovoy over there, which is also in secondary range. And then we have the Midway over here. So I'm actually just going to leave my secondaries to do the dirty work. Because I actually enjoy just using my secondaries. And the accuracy you can get with a full secondary build is amazing. Like, just look at how quickly this Grozovoy is just getting destroyed. The Midway is already gone. There goes that one, and Akazuki's in range now as well. And put up my fighters though. I think that they're going to be shot down, but maybe it'll help in spotting this destroyer. In the meantime, let's get a little bit more health. Now see, if there were more battleships in this game, I would be able to get a lot more secondary hits. But just because it registers as a hit does not mean it was a penetrating, damaging hit. I'm going to put my hydro on in case some torpedoes are in the water. And we will have her down in, well, right about now. Yeah, this ship tears anything within secondary range absolutely apart. Carriers, cruisers, destroyers, you name it. Battleships it can work over, but it'll take a long time to actually sink them with just secondaries, so those are the ones that you want to use your main guns on. So let's see how we did. 327,000 damage, 8 ships sunk, 51 shell hits, 11 aircraft shot down, 3 citadels, 10 fires, 1 module destroyed, 614 secondary hits for almost 10,000 base XP. Now, the main guns only did 150,000 damage. Yeah, so that's not that much. It's actually that's less than half of the damage I did. Fires did almost 51,000 damage, which, mind you, are all from the secondaries. I did not fire a single shell of high explosive. And then secondaries did 126,000 damage by themselves. That's almost as much as my main guns. So it's a very good balance of secondary damage and main gun damage. And you also have the added benefit of setting numerous fires. Like I said, your AA is not that strong. I was not able to do anything against that one midway attack. But yeah, she's a very, very strong ship. And if you use your skills right, you put your hydro on, you can detect destroyers in smoke, you can detect torpedoes. And if you catch a destroyer in smoke, your secondaries will make short work of them. They'll be sunk in about 30 seconds. Yeah, the ship is an absolute beast. And it's so much fun just to go around and just have every single gun on your ship blazing in every single direction. With that, I will wrap up today's video. If you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe. And as previously mentioned, join me tomorrow while we go over Kaliningrad, which is a very, very unique ship at best. And my opinion of her has kind of gotten a little better, but we'll talk more about that tomorrow. So again, thank you for watching and take care.